welcome back to Court TV Live. Dramatic day here, dramatic Friday. At any moment, the Nebraska judge who is going to render a verdict in the midwife delivery trial for Angela Hock. He's taking the stand, or his bench right now. Let's go in live here. He is about to deliver the verdict against midwife Angie Hock. Let's listen.
Before I announce the verdict, I want to acknowledge the attorneys in this case for their hard work and professionalism that they showed during this case. The attorneys presented their cases very well. For starters, Angela Hock's actions were likely unlawful by her acting as a lay midwife in the home delivery of the Noe's baby. Under Nebraska law, her actions could be seen as the unlawful practice of medicine under the Uniform Credentialing Act and in violation of the Certified Nurse Midwifery Practice Act. Any violation of these acts would be a Class 3 misdemeanor for a first offense. Further, any person engaging in the practice of any profession or business without the appropriate credentials may be restrained by temporary and permanent injunctions. And finally, practice of such profession or operation of such business without a credential after receiving a cease and desist order from the director of the Department of Health and Human Services is a Class 3 felony. Angela Hock, however, is charged with negligent child abuse resulting in death, a Class 2A felony under Nebraska Revised Stat Section 28-707. Also, the court notes that the parents in this case have certain constitutional rights involving their medical choices for home delivery of their baby, although the court recognizes that the parents' choices are not absolute. This court expresses no opinion on whether home births in general are wise or prudent. This is an issue for the prospective parents and the Nebraska legislature. Further, this case is not a civil case where the plaintiff has alleged that Angela Hock acted negligently. This is a criminal case where the state has charged Angela Hock with criminal negligent child abuse resulting in the heartrending death of Vera. There is a vast difference between civil negligence and criminal negligence. While it is true that Angela Hock is not a licensed midwife, she does have education, training, and experience in childbirth. Under the facts of this case, the elements which the state must prove by evidence beyond a reasonable doubt in order to convict the defendant, Angela Hock, of negligent child abuse resulting in death are: 1, that the defendant did cause or permit Vera to be placed in a situation that endangered her safety or physical health, or B, to deprived of necessary care, and 2, that the defendant did so negligently, and 3, that the defendant's conduct in doing so proximately caused the death to Vera, and 4, that the defendant did so on or about June 14th through June 15th, 2019 in Douglas County, Nebraska, and 5, that at said time Vera was a minor child. Angela Hock first argues that the state has failed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that she was criminally negligent. Pursuant to Nebraska Revised Stat Section 28-707 in parens 9, negligently refers to criminal negligence and means that Angela Hock knew or should have known of the danger involved and acted recklessly with respect to the safety or physical health or necessary care of Vera. Recklessly means disregarding a substantial and unjustifiable risk that Vera's safety or health or necessary care would be endangered in circumstances in which disregarding this risk was a gross deviation from what a reasonable law-abiding person would have done. What makes this case very troubling for the court is to try to separate the rights of the parents to choose a home birth with the criminal charge against Angela Hock. The Noes knew beforehand what Angela Hock was all about, and they chose a home birth. In fact, the Noes rehired her after they tried a home delivery with the first child approximately 1.5 years earlier. At no time did Angela Hock misrepresent herself. Once Vera was determined to be in a breech position, Angela Hock gave the Noes the option of going to the hospital. It is unclear from this record whether Angela Hock knew there was a prolapsed cord. Although Angela Hock did not provide the Noes with all the risks associated with a breech baby, it was the Noes' choice, and they chose to continue with the birth at home. Some 30 minutes or so later, Emily Noe started to deliver Vera. What happened next was tragic, but everyone involved in this case, from the Noes, Angela Hock, Mickey, the firefighters and paramedics, and the doctors and the nurses at the hospital, acted to the best of their abilities to save Vera. In applying the elements outlined above to the case before the court cannot find that the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt that Angela Hock acted criminally, that is, negligently caused or permitted the minor child Vera to be placed in a situation that endangered her safety or physical health or deprived her of necessary care. The court finds Angela Hock not guilty. Because the court has found that Angela Hock's actions were not criminally negligent, the court will not address the other issues raised by her. It is therefore ordered that the defendant, Angela Hock, is found to be not guilty. I will file this verdict with full citations momentarily, and the parties are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Okay, wow. There, the defendant, Angela Hock, embracing her counsel, absorbing the reality that she has been found not guilty, will not be headed to prison, will not suffer criminally for the death of little baby Vera, and the judge detailed his line of reasoning here, basically saying that Angela Hock did everything she could in the moments with her limited skills as the baby was breached. The firefighters were there. They did all they could. Everybody did all they could in the judge's decision, and there was an absolute bringing in his decision of the parents. Mom and dad, he said, quote, knew exactly what they were getting with Angela Hock, the midwife. They used her before a year and a half earlier. They had researched it, and the judge also determined that she at no time misrepresented herself as an obstetrician or even a midwife, a licensed midwife. She was an unlicensed midwife, which she told the jury. You can listen, let's listen in, we can hear and pick up some ambient noise from the courtroom. No, we just lost our, just lost the audio there, but this is oh, there's some, there we go.
Oh my God. Wow.
That was huge.
That was huge.
All right, audio's been cut from the courtroom feed there. Wow, what drama inside this Nebraska courtroom. Angela Hock will be walking out a free woman. Josh Schiffer's been with us all morning long. Philip Dubé's joining our conversation, watching along. Reaction, Philip, to you first. What do you think? Judge get it right?
Absolutely. One of the best things she had going for her, Ted, and maybe Josh can chime in on this, is Nebraska law. There are a minority of jurisdictions in the United States where the defendant in a criminal case alone has the right and the power to waive jury. In most jurisdictions, the prosecution has to join in on the jury waiver, but the Nebraska Constitution leaves that choice solely to a defendant on trial. And her counsel obviously knew the predilections of this particular judge, and that this was such a complex legal quagmire that no jury would have comprehended it properly, or probably would have disregarded the law and convicted her based on emotion. But the judge was able to set aside the fact that an infant lost its life, and that in the end, what she did was really more form over substance. And I kind of the other day crudely analogized this to, an unlicensed contractor adding on a room to his house. Everything is done to code. Everything is proper. The only thing that went awry was the fact that the person didn't have a license. And yes, under Nebraska law, that would be some type of class misdemeanor. But it's form over substance. If everything was otherwise done properly, and maybe there was some minor issues with the construction later on, who's to say it wouldn't have happened with a properly licensed contractor? In this case, nobody could really say whether or not baby Vera would have died even in a hospital setting. So it's tragic, it's sad, but this matter did not belong in a criminal court on this evidence.
Josh, the judge made a point of saying that criminal negligence is much different than civil negligence, as we continue to watch the defense team gathering around Angela Hock, absorbing what they just heard from the judge. I want your reaction to, not just your reaction, but also what do you think of the judge's reasoning, the reasons he came to this conclusion?
It's hard to disagree with anything my good friend just said. The knowledge of the defense and the predilections of the court and their confidence in the defense's case, along with that ability to deny the state a jury, was wisdom of the highest accord, and certainly worked out great for this midwife. I think the most interesting part is going to be how this verdict volleys the issue back to the state to make additional prosecutorial decisions involving other parties that might have been involved with this, because clearly the people of Nebraska have witnessed a death that was needless and that should have been handled in a different way. And I think politically, this is not the end of this, but the defense earned every single kudo we've got, picking a bench trial, presenting the evidence in this way, just like Mr. Dubé is saying, giving the judge this clear, narrow decision, placing it on that judge to make it as difficult as possible for a conviction to stand was a lot of wisdom. I'm frustrated on behalf of people who see a crime and can't get the remedy that the community deserves, but this isn't done yet. And the defense certainly has earned a respite and a wonderful holiday season, because they did their job spectacularly.
One of the things as we watch the defendant walking out with her legal team, her husband's also there. He's the gentleman in the checkered shirt there on your screen. They are now walking out of the courtroom. It's 13 minutes ago. They didn't know if Angela Hock, was going to be heading to the Nebraska state prison system or was going to be coming home. I mean, the emotion that we see play out so many times here on Court TV is through the roof. The drama of those moments, it doesn't get any more compelling than this. And you see the relief on their body language. I mean, the tears, the whole thing there. Philip, the idea that the judge said, listen, and she did all she could in that moment, that sort of, that to me really encompasses, from the judge's perspective, her role here. And it was a supporting role to help mom through a home birth. And a lot of people thought that she was a snake oil salesman convincing mom that, oh, I can do everything, just stay home, just stay home. But the judge saw through that and said, no, this was the parents' decision.
Absolutely. I mean, the prosecution tried to paint her as one of these sovereign citizens who felt she was immune from criminal prosecution, from licensure, from proper schooling, all of that stuff, and just in blatant disregard of Nebraska law, just ignored all the rights of the baby. But the truth is, she did all she could under the circumstances. And it's a tough balance, Ted, and maybe Josh will agree, that when you have a parent's right and choice to home birth, balanced against the skills and the adequacy and the education and training of a midwife, you know, there are inherent risks. There truly are. And she did the best she could. She, you know, you had a breech baby that was prolapsed. It was difficult. But if we're honest, pregnancy is a very fragile time. And the fact that Nebraska recognizes midwifery under their laws recognizes as well that they accept the fragile nature of delivery, even for a midwife. So it's unfortunately just one of the risks that exists, not just clinically, but legally, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's criminal. The only thing she did really that's criminal, and she really dodged a bullet on this, is that she did it without a permit or without a license. And, you know, even if she would have gone down on that, it would have been a 6-month or a 1-year misdemeanor. She wouldn't have done any time anyway.
Yeah, and the judge pointing out that she would have been found guilty of unlawful practice of medicine and sort of a dig at the state. Why didn't you know, that should have been added on to this, in my opinion. No, should have added.
You know, and that was her little stocking stuffer for the holidays. It was a clean sweep that they didn't add that extra charge.